You do your best. You read the nutrition labels, skip the desserts when you can, and try to follow your doctor's advice. But here's the unsettling truth. The greatest cancer risk might not be in the foods you avoid, but in the ones you still believe are safe. In fact, they may be right there on your plate, looking familiar, even comforting. What if that comforting sandwich, sizzling breakfast, or quick dinner option has been quietly working against you, not just increasing inflammation, but potentially feeding the very cells you fear most? According to large-scale studies, including findings published by the American Institute for Cancer Research, as much as 40% of all cancers are linked to diet and lifestyle. And yet every day, millions of people continue to eat foods that scientists now associate with an increased risk of tumor growth, hormonal imbalance, and chronic inflammation, key contributors to cancer's silent spread. In this video, we will uncover the 5 food groups that pose the greatest risk to aging bodies. Some of these might surprise you because they are often labeled as healthy or harmless. But the truth is, your body after 60 has different needs and different vulnerabilities. We'll also explore what to eat instead, because the good news is that food can also be your first and most powerful form of medicine. If you're watching right now and you're ready to start taking control of your plate, not just relying on prescriptions, then tap that like button, subscribe for more evidence-based health insights, and leave a comment below with the number 1. Your journey to a stronger, safer life could begin with just one change. Cancer is rarely random. While genetics can play a role, far more often it is the result of conditions we unknowingly create and support in our bodies, day after day, meal after meal. The truth is that food does not simply nourish us, it also shapes the internal environment where either health thrives or disease begins to take root. Many cancers begin not with a sudden mutation, but with a prolonged imbalance. Chronic inflammation, for example, quietly wears down the body's defenses over time. Insulin resistance, often triggered by sugary or ultra-processed foods, drives excess growth signals that may awaken dormant cancer cells. And oxidative stress, caused by a poor diet, among other things, damages our cells, weakens immunity, and leaves us vulnerable to the changes that set cancer in motion. But here's the empowering part. Every bite you take either contributes to that internal fire or helps put it out. You are not powerless in this equation. On the contrary, your daily food choices are among the most powerful tools you have. This is not about fear. It is about awareness. And more importantly, it is about reclaiming control, because when you understand which foods quietly fuel disease and which ones help defend your cells, you can begin making small, lasting changes that add up to powerful protection. That is what today's video is all about. Let's begin. Number 1. Processed meats. Let's begin with one of the most familiar and, unfortunately, one of the most dangerous food groups quietly found on many senior plates: processed meats. These include everyday staples like bacon, hot dogs, sausages, salami, and deli slices, the kind you might stack into a sandwich without thinking twice. For decades, these foods have been marketed as convenient sources of protein. They're quick to prepare, easy to chew, and widely available. But beneath that ease and flavor lies a significant health concern, especially when it comes to cancer. The World Health Organization has classified processed meats as a Group 1 carcinogen. That means there is strong scientific evidence that these meats cause cancer in humans, particularly colorectal cancer. To be clear, Group 1 is the same classification given to tobacco and asbestos. This isn't just a mild suggestion, it is a medical warning backed by years of international research. So what makes processed meats so harmful? It begins with how they are made. To preserve shelf life and enhance taste, these meats are often cured, smoked or salted, and they contain nitrates and nitrites, chemical preservatives that when cooked or digested can form compounds known as nitrosamines These are highly reactive substances that can damage the lining of your digestive tract and alter DNA inside your cells, opening the door to cancerous mutations. In fact, a major study published in the Lancet Oncology found that eating just 50 grams of processed meat per day, about 2 slices of bacon or 1 hot dog, was associated with an 18% increase in colorectal cancer risk. And because many of these meats are also high in sodium and saturated fats, they can worsen inflammation and blood pressure, further taxing the immune system and digestive organs over time. The danger is not just in how much you eat, but in the frequency. For many seniors, processed meats appear regularly, on toast in the morning, in a sandwich at lunch, or in soups and stews at dinner. Each small serving may not seem like much, but over time, they accumulate into a serious health risk. Now, you might be wondering, what do I eat instead? You do not need to give up flavor, protein, or satisfaction to protect your health. Try swapping bacon or sausage with savory lentil patties or lentil-based meatballs. They're rich in fiber, gentle on digestion, and free of harmful preservatives. If you enjoy the umami taste of grilled meats, consider thick slices of portobello mushrooms brushed with olive oil and garlic. Delicious, filling, and anti-inflammatory. Or use marinated and baked tofu as a sandwich filler or salad topper. It absorbs flavor beautifully and offers a safe source of plant-based protein without the risks. The goal here is not deprivation, it is protection. By choosing whole, minimally processed plant proteins and stepping away from meats that damage the gut and inflame your cells, you are not just avoiding something harmful. You are giving your body the support it needs to heal, thrive, and protect itself. Remember, the food you eat today becomes the health you live with tomorrow. And when it comes to processed meats, the science is no longer vague. The risk is real, but so is the opportunity to replace it with better choices, ones that protect your body rather than silently harm it. So tell us in the comments, do you eat processed meats regularly? And are you willing to try a plant-based swap this week? You might be surprised at how satisfying and energizing these alternatives can be. Stay with us. The next food group is one most people consume every day, often without knowing the cancer risk it carries. Number 2, refined sugars and sugary beverages. Let's talk about something that seems innocent, even comforting. A sweet cup of tea in the afternoon, a slice of cake at a birthday, a soda or fruit juice with lunch. These little moments feel harmless. But for many seniors, refined sugars and sugary drinks are quietly and consistently working against the body's ability to heal. The truth is, sugar isn't just an energy source. It is also a powerful driver of internal processes that fuel cancer growth, especially when consumed in refined and concentrated forms. And the science is remarkably clear. In 2016, a study published in the journal Cancer Research showed that high sugar consumption, particularly in the form of sucrose and fructose, was directly linked to increased tumor growth and metastasis in breast cancer. This wasn't just correlation. The sugar was actively feeding the disease. Here's how it works. When you consume sugary foods, especially in beverages like soda, sweetened teas, or fruit juices, your blood sugar spikes. This triggers a release of insulin, a hormone that helps cells absorb sugar for energy. But insulin doesn't just regulate blood sugar, it also encourages cells to grow and divide. That's wonderful when you're healing a wound, but in the presence of abnormal or cancerous cells, insulin acts like fertilizer, feeding their expansion. Fructose, the kind of sugar found in many natural sweeteners and juices, adds another layer of concern. Unlike glucose, which is used by every cell in the body, fructose is processed almost entirely in the liver. When consumed in excess, it increases oxidative stress in liver cells and raises levels of uric acid, both of which contribute to chronic inflammation and cellular damage. Over time, This weakens your body's defenses and creates the very conditions in which cancer thrives. And unfortunately, sugar is not just in obvious places. Yes, soda is harmful, but so are flavored yogurts, sweetened cereals, granola bars, energy drinks, and even some fruit juices marketed as natural. A single can of soda contains about 40 grams of sugar, more than 10 teaspoons, and most seniors don't realize just how quickly these numbers add up. But this isn't about never enjoying something sweet again. It's about choosing sweetness that supports your health rather than undermining it. Start by reaching for nature's candy. Berries. Blueberries, raspberries, and strawberries are rich in fiber and antioxidants, offering gentle sweetness without the glucose spike. Sprinkle cinnamon into your morning oats or tea. It adds warmth and depth of flavor while helping regulate blood sugar. And if you need a calorie-free option, consider stevia, a natural plant extract that doesn't spike insulin or feed inflammation. The goal is not restriction, it is redirection. From sweeteners that fuel disease to choices that nurture health, each shift you make away from refined sugar is a powerful message to your cells. I am supporting your healing. Now, you might be wondering, is it really that serious? Is cutting back sugar worth the effort at my age? Let me assure you, it is. Reducing sugar intake can improve your energy, lighten your inflammation, support better digestion, and, yes, help reduce your cancer risk. So here's your challenge this week. Swap just one sugary item, maybe your afternoon soda or that morning sweetened creamer, for something gentler. Add berries to your yogurt instead of flavored syrup. Sweeten tea with cinnamon or stevia instead of sugar. Your taste buds will adjust faster than you think, and your body will thank you in ways you can feel. And in the comments, tell us what's one sugary habit you're ready to rethink. It might inspire someone else to do the same. Coming up next is a food group we often treat as harmless comfort, but research now shows it may be fueling inflammation deep within your body. Stay with us. Number 3, ultra-processed packaged foods. Let's take a look at something that may be sitting quietly in your pantry right now. A box of crackers, a can of soup, maybe even a snack bar that claims to be healthy. You bought it because it's convenient, maybe even labeled low-fat, organic, or high-fiber. But what if that very convenience is coming at a hidden cost? Ultra-processed packaged foods are everywhere. They're often the go-to items for quick meals or snacks, especially for older adults living alone or managing fatigue. But behind their bright packaging and familiar flavors is a truth that deserves your attention. Ultra-processed foods are defined not just by being packaged, but by how far they've been altered from their original ingredients. They often contain long lists of additives, emulsifiers to stabilize texture, dyes to enhance color, preservatives to extend shelf life, and artificial flavors to mask what's missing. These foods are manufactured to hit your brain's reward centers, but your cells, especially those fighting inflammation or cancer, may pay the price. In 2023, a major French cohort study involving more than 90,000 participants revealed something startling. For every 10% increase in the proportion of ultra-processed foods in the diet, there was a corresponding 12% increase in overall cancer risk. That's not a minor detail. That's a direct, measurable link between what's in your grocery cart and your long-term health. How does this happen? The additives in many ultra-processed foods disrupt your gut microbiome. Those trillions of beneficial bacteria that protect your immune system, regulate inflammation, and help your body identify and eliminate abnormal cells before they turn dangerous. When those microbes are thrown off balance, your defenses weaken. Emulsifiers, in particular, have been shown to increase gut permeability, allowing harmful substances to enter your bloodstream and trigger chronic inflammation, a known driver of cancer. Then there's the issue of nitrates and nitrites, especially in processed snacks and pre-cooked meals. These compounds, when metabolized, can form nitrosamines, chemicals known to damage DNA and promote cancer development. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens gradually, silently, until a diagnosis forces a reckoning. But here's the good news: you are not powerless. One of the most empowering things you can do at any age is to trade ultra-processed options for simple, whole food alternatives. You don't need to give up flavor or comfort. You just need to take back control of what you're putting into your body. Instead of boxed mac and cheese, try whole grain pasta with real olive oil and herbs. Instead of packaged snack cakes, reach for a small bowl of berries with a spoonful of nut butter. Craving something crunchy, bake your own sweet potato chips or keep roasted almonds on hand. It may feel like a small shift, but your body recognizes the difference. And over time, these changes add up, not just in lower cancer risk, but in better digestion, clearer energy, and stronger immune protection. If you're watching this and realizing your pantry may need a little cleanup, you are not alone. And you're not being judged. Many of these habits were formed during years of clever marketing and busy schedules. The important thing is that you now have the awareness and the power to choose differently. So here's a gentle challenge. This week, pick just one ultra-processed item you reach for regularly and replace it with something you prepare from real ingredients. Even a simple switch like cooking your own oatmeal instead of using a flavored packet is a meaningful act of self-care. And in the comments, let us know, what packaged food are you ready to swap? Your choice might inspire someone else. Coming up next, we're taking a closer look at a food group often mistaken for health food, but that may be quietly fueling hormone-driven cancers, especially in older women. Stay tuned. Number 4. Charred and grilled red meats. Think back to the last time you grilled a juicy steak or a thick hamburger on the barbecue. That sizzling sound, that irresistible smoky aroma. It's tradition, it's comfort, it's what many of us grew up with. But what if that familiar flame is creating something far more dangerous than we ever imagined? Grilling red meat at high temperatures, especially until it's charred or crispy, doesn't just seal in flavor. It also creates chemicals called heterocyclic amines, HCAs, and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, PAHs. These compounds form when muscle meat is cooked over an open flame or pan-fried at high heat. They're invisible, odorless, and scientifically classified as mutagens, which means they can cause direct damage to your DNA. In simple terms, they don't just cook your food, they burn your body from the inside out, one meal at a time. Multiple studies have shown a troubling connection between frequent consumption of charred meats and increased cancer risk. One landmark study published in the Journal of the National Cancer Institute found that men who regularly ate well-done grilled meat had a significantly higher risk of developing pancreatic cancer compared to those who preferred their meat less cooked. Another study linked high consumption of grilled red meats with increased prostate cancer risk, especially in men over 60. And yet, these meals often feel like tradition, like love, like celebration. That's what makes them so difficult to question. But here's the truth. Once you know what these high-heat cooking methods are doing to your cells, it becomes easier to make smarter choices. You don't have to give up meat entirely. You don't even have to abandon the grill completely. But you do need to change how you use it. Start by marinating your meat in olive oil, lemon juice, or herbs. This can drastically reduce the formation of HCAs. Avoid letting fat drip onto flames, which triggers PAHs. Flip meat frequently. And most importantly, consider safer cooking methods like low-temperature roasting, steaming, baking, or even slow cooking in a crockpot. These methods reduce the formation of carcinogenic compounds and allow the meat to retain more moisture and nutrients, something aging bodies need more than ever. If you're someone who's relied on grilling as a staple for years, this isn't about guilt, it's about evolution. You've learned more, and now you get to do better. So here's a simple shift you can make. Next time you're craving a hearty meal, try roasting your protein alongside antioxidant-rich vegetables. It's satisfying, flavorful, and deeply nourishing without creating the hidden risks that come with an open flame. Let us know in the comments, what's one meat dish you might try cooking differently this week? Maybe you'll inspire someone else to do the same. And if this video has helped you think differently about what's really on your plate, please give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and share it with someone you love, because the more we know, the more power we have to protect the lives we care about, starting with our own. Coming up next, we explore a food group that hides in so-called healthy items but has been quietly linked to hormone-sensitive cancers in women. You won't want to miss it. Number 5. Hydrogenated oils and trans fats. They don't sizzle like bacon, they don't sparkle like soda, and yet hydrogenated oils and trans fats might be among the most dangerous ingredients hiding in your kitchen right now. Why? Because they're invisible, disguised in seemingly harmless foods like margarine, flaky pastries, and those crispy crackers in the back of your cupboard. But what they do inside your body is anything but harmless. Hydrogenated oils are industrially altered fats. Manufacturers take liquid vegetable oils and force hydrogen into them to make them solid at room temperature. This extends shelf life, improves texture, and creates a perfect storm for inflammation inside your body. Trans fats are the toxic byproduct of this process, and they don't just linger in your bloodstream, they alter it. These fats harden your arteries, damage your cells, and worst of all, they create an environment where cancer can quietly grow. You see, cancer thrives in inflammatory conditions. The more inflammation in your body, the more fertile the ground for abnormal cells to take root and multiply. Harvard researchers have studied this link extensively. One large-scale study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that women with the highest intake of trans fats had a significantly increased risk of developing breast cancer. A similar connection has been found in men with elevated trans fat intake associated with a higher risk of prostate cancer. These aren't fringe studies, they're from respected institutions based on real people, and they carry serious weight. What's most alarming is that these dangerous fats often appear where you least expect them. That low cholesterol margarine, it may contain trans fats. That shelf-stable pie crust or heart-healthy granola bar. Check the label. If you see the words partially hydrogenated oil, that is a red flag. But here's the good news, you have far better options now. You can replace hydrogenated spreads with heart-healthy fats like avocado oil, extra virgin olive oil, and flaxseed oil. These oils don't just avoid harm, they actively help. They reduce inflammation, support brain and hormone health, and provide essential fatty acids your body needs to repair and protect itself. Think of these changes not as restrictions but as reinforcements. Every meal becomes an opportunity to nourish your body with fats that fight, not fuel, disease. So here's your invitation. Take a peek in your pantry today. Read those labels. Look closely at that margarine tub, that frozen pastry box, that packaged snack. Are they working for your health? Or quietly undermining it? Let us know in the comments, what is one swap you're ready to make today? Will you trade margarine for olive oil? Will you rethink those crispy crackers? And if this opened your eyes even a little, please give this video a like. Share it with someone who still believes all fats are the same. And don't forget to subscribe for more empowering health strategies built for the second half of life. Coming up next, we'll recap the top food culprits to cut and introduce healing foods that rebuild your body from the inside out. Stay with us. Your plate holds more power than you think. So now that we've seen the most dangerous food groups that may quietly increase your cancer risk, here comes the empowering part. Let's talk about what to eat instead. Because while some foods may fuel the fire, others help put it out and even rebuild what's been damaged. This is where real nourishment begins. A healing plate isn't built from restriction or fear. It's built with purpose, using nature's most protective tools. Foods that fight inflammation, repair your cells, support detoxification, and calm the internal chaos that disease feeds on. Let's start with one of the most studied groups of cancer-fighting foods in the world, cruciferous vegetables. Think broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, and cabbage. These aren't just high-fiber veggies. They're chemical powerhouses. They contain natural compounds called glucosinolates, which your body converts into sulforaphane. That's a compound shown to neutralize carcinogens, prevent DNA damage, and even trigger the self-destruction of abnormal cells. Studies from Johns Hopkins and other institutions have shown that sulforaphane helps slow the growth of cancer cells, particularly in the breast, prostate, and colon. And yes, steamed broccoli on your plate can do that. Next, garlic and onions. They've been used for thousands of years in traditional healing, and science now explains why. These pungent bulbs contain allicin and other sulfur compounds that support the body's detoxification process. In simple terms, they help your liver process and eliminate harmful chemicals. According to a study in the Journal of the National Cancer Institute, individuals with high garlic intake had a significantly reduced risk of stomach and colorectal cancers. And the good news? You don't need a pill, you just need to crush fresh garlic, let it sit for a few minutes, and cook it gently. Now let's add something a little sweeter. Berries. Blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, and strawberries are some of the most antioxidant-rich foods on Earth. They contain anthocyanins and ellagic acid, which protect your cells from oxidative stress, slow cancer cell growth, and reduce inflammation. Research from Ohio State University has shown that a diet rich in berries can inhibit the growth of esophageal and colon tumors in animal models, and human trials are beginning to show similar promise. Just a half cup of berries a day, especially with breakfast or as dessert, offers profound protection. For your drink, try green tea, especially the type rich in EGCG, epigallocatechin gallate, a compound linked to reduced cancer cell growth and increased cancer cell death. In multiple studies, particularly from Japan and China, higher green tea consumption has been associated with lower risks of breast, prostate, and colorectal cancers. And unlike sugary beverages or processed juices, a cup of green tea actually supports your defenses rather than depleting them. And let's not forget the importance of healthy fats. Specifically, omega-3 fatty acids found in wild salmon, flaxseed, chia, and walnuts. These fats are not only anti-inflammatory, they also support hormone balance and cell membrane integrity, making it harder for cancer cells to take hold and spread. A clinical study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that women with higher omega-3 intake had a significantly lower risk of breast cancer recurrence. And for men, the benefits for prostate health and cardiovascular protection are just as strong. Now, picture this, a dinner plate with roasted sweet potatoes seasoned with garlic and olive oil, sautéed kale with a sprinkle of sea salt and lemon, a lentil and turmeric stew served warm, and a bowl of blueberries and raspberries for dessert. That's not just a meal, that's protection. Now that's defense. That's a strategy for keeping your body strong and your future hopeful. Healing with food doesn't require trendy diets or expensive superfoods. It requires returning to the basics, real, whole ingredients, prepared with care and eaten with intention. And the more colorful your plate, the more powerful your protection. Let's do a quick check-in. Which of these healing foods are already on your plate? Are you cooking with garlic, adding berries to your morning, drinking green tea after lunch? Comment below and let us know which one of these foods you'll be trying this week. It could be your first small step toward a stronger, longer life. If you have found this helpful, give the video a thumbs up to support this message of healing. And please share it with a loved one who needs encouragement and real answers, not hype or fear. In the final section, we'll tie it all together with a recap and a reminder. You are not powerless. Your plate is your starting point. Stay with us.
Let's take a breath together. You've just heard a lot. And that alone puts you ahead of most. The truth is, cancer doesn't begin in a single moment. It builds quietly over time, fed by repeated choices, many of which we were never told could be dangerous. But here's the good news. You don't have to be perfect. You don't need to fear every bite. You just need to be intentional. Because every single food choice is either feeding your healing or quietly fueling harm. And that decision, it's yours. Let's quickly recap what we covered today. The 5 major food groups that have been directly linked to increased cancer risk include processed meats like bacon, deli slices, and hot dogs, classified by the World Health Organization as known carcinogens, especially for colon and stomach cancer. Refined sugars and sugary drinks, the invisible accelerants of insulin resistance, oxidative stress, and tumor growth, especially in breast, liver, and colon cancers.
Ultra-processed packaged snacks. Those long ingredient lists packed with preservatives, dyes, and emulsifiers that promote gut inflammation and cell damage. Charred or grilled red meats, where high heat creates harmful compounds that are strongly tied to pancreatic and prostate cancers, particularly in older men. And finally, hydrogenated oils and trans fats, the silent spreaders of chronic inflammation, which create the ideal environment for cancer cells to thrive. Now, the point isn't deprivation, it's direction. If you can slowly shift your plate away from those hazards and toward healing foods, like antioxidant-rich berries, sulforaphane-loaded broccoli, garlic, green tea, and healthy fats from avocado and wild salmon, you are already winning. You don't have to change everything overnight, but what you do tomorrow matters. A cup of green tea instead of soda, roasted lentils instead of processed lunch meat, berries for dessert instead of that boxed cake. Every small pivot is a big victory for your future self. If even one food today surprised you or opened your eyes, please give this video a thumbs up. It helps this message reach others who might desperately need it. Comment below and tell us, what's the first food you're ready to let go of? That single act of commitment could spark real transformation. And if you know someone, a friend, a spouse, a parent, who's fighting inflammation, facing cancer, or just feeling overwhelmed by what to eat, please share this with them, not out of fear, but out of care. Because sometimes the right information delivered at the right time changes everything. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss the age-smart, science-backed guidance we'll be bringing you each week. We're in this together. Eat smart, live strong, and we'll see you in the next video.